let you. Usually I like my situations beneficial. Doing something different got me looking stupid. The only way I'm coming back to you is if you're dreaming. Lucid, prove it. If you made a promise, then keep it. Why you wanna lie and then get mad? I don't believe it. But really, I was doing just fine without you. Looking fine, sipping wine, dancing no club couches. Baby, why you wanna lose me like you don't need me? Like I don't block you and you still try to reach me. How you figure out how to call me from the TV? You running out of chances and this time I mean it. Yeah, bet you miss my love all in your bed. Now you're stressing out, pulling your hair, smelling your pillows and wishing I was there. Sliding down the show wall, looking sad. I know it's hard to let go, I'm the best. Best you ever had and best you gon' get. And if we break up, I don't wanna be friends. You're toxic.
For mistakes I make inside my head. She's naked in my bed, and I will lie awake, making beautiful mistakes. I wouldn't take them back. I'm in love with the past, and I will lie awake, making beautiful mistakes. Na na na, in my head, na na na, in my bed, na na na, making beautiful mistakes. Na na na, in my head, na na na, in my bed, na na na, making beautiful mistakes.
Only the best.
Have it all, rip our memories off the wall. All the special things I bought, they mean nothing to me anymore. But to you, they were everything we were. They meant more than every word. Now I know just what you love me for. Take all the money you want from me. Hope you become what you want to be. Show me how little you care, how little you care, how little you care. You dream of glitter and gold. My heart's already been sold. Show you how little I care, how little I care, how little I care. My diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material love won't fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Shake it off, shake the fear of feeling lost. Always me that pays the cost. I should never trust so easily. You lied to me, lied to me. Then left with my heart round your chest. Take all the money you want from me. Hope you become what you want to be. Show me how little you care, how little you care, how little you care. You dream of glitter and gold. My heart's already been sold. Show you how little I care, how little I care, how little I care. And my diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material love won't fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, oh, ooh, oh, always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, always knew. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material love won't fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always do. My diamonds leave with you. You're never gonna hear my heart break. Never gonna move in dark ways. Baby, you're so cruel. My diamonds leave with you. Material love won't fool me. When you're not here, I can't breathe. Think I always knew. My diamonds leave with you. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh,
the best.
'Cause I can't sleep without you. No, I don't want to dream about you. Wish I had my arms wrapped around you. I've been out for 2 days. Tylenol PM ain't working. Losing track of time, babe. Insomnia. My mind is running too fast. The shadows on the wall keep lurking.
The Ohio State Texas line came out last night at 4.5, which is obviously ridiculous. It's already been bet up to 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 9.5 or 10. I'd take Ohio State anything. I mean, I'd take Ohio State all the way up to 13. Texas is beat up.
No, I don't want to dream about you. Wish I had my arms wrapped around you. Insomnia, 'cause I can't sleep without you. No, I don't want to dream about you. Wish I had my arms wrapped around you. I can hear your voice now, keeping me awake till morning. Can see you with the lights out. Insomnia. I keep on hoping to find you, reaching in between the sheets. Maybe it's only been one night, feel like it's been like a week. Tossing and turning, flipping the pillow, pulling the curtains. Insomnia, 'cause I can't sleep without you. No, I don't want to dream about you. Wish I had my arms wrapped around you. Insomnia, 'cause I can't sleep without you. No, I don't want to dream about you. Wish I had my arms wrapped around you. Insomnia. I keep on hoping to find you. I'm trying to. You said my mind moves. Oh, I got.
Only the best.
I didn't ask for a free ride. I only asked you to show me a real good time. I never asked for the rainfall. At least I showed up. You showed me nothing at all. It's coming down on me. Harder like misery. It's coming down on me. I'm ready, rain on me. Drop, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me, rain on me, rain. I'd rather be drop, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me, rain on me.
Yeah, I got 2 bets on the Georgia game, I think. I have over 45.5 points and Georgia +1. And then I have, like, from a month ago, a futures bet for Georgia to win it all at +450.
Coming down on me.
But, well, I tell you what I'm probably going to do. I have Georgia to win it all at +450. I bet $50. So $50 to win $225 if Georgia wins it all. I made that bet about a month ago. If I can find a bet for Ohio State to win it all, I'll bet enough on Ohio State to where it would pay out $50. Because they're winning it all. So in other words, I'll bet enough on Ohio State to make my money back from this Georgia to win it all bet, because no one's beating Ohio State if they play like yesterday. I mean, you can just forget it. Or even against Tennessee. If they play like they played the last 2 games, nobody's beating them.
Hands up to the sky. I'll be your galaxy. I'm about to fly. Rain on me, tsunami. Hands up to the sky. I'll be your galaxy. I'm about to fly. Rain on me.
Only the best.
Have you been to the eye doctor? If not, you should go now.
You are somebody that I don't know, but you're taking shots at me like it's Patron, and I'm just like, damn. It's 7 a.m. Say it in the street, that's a knockout, but you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out, and I'm just like, hey, are you okay? And I ain't trying to mess with your self-expression, but I've learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun.
If Ohio State is minus 130 to win the Natty, then $50 does not pay 115. $50 would pay about 35 or 40.
But you're coming at my friends like a missile. Why are you mad when you could be glad? Sunshine on the street at the parade, but you would rather be in the dark age, just making that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, David. But even at plus 130, $50 won't pay anywhere near 115. You'd win $65. $50 at plus 130 pays 65. So you'd bet 50 and you'd get 115 back. You're 50 plus another 65. You'd make $65.
Only the best.
Cause he likes a good time.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you, David. You're 50 plus another 65.
My mama does.
You'd profit $65.
He's only here for one thing, but a little bit older, a black leather jacket, a bad reputation, insatiable habits. He was on to me, one look and I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I said if he kissed me, I might let it happen. I swear on my life that I've been a good girl. Tonight I don't wanna be hurt. They say he likes a good time. He comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him.
Hey, let's not forget about the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. Is that is? No, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Let's not forget about the Gator Bowl. Duke and Ole Miss. So far, all the teams that should have been in the playoffs but weren't lost. Remember? Alabama and South Carolina. We'll see if Ole Miss. Oh, and Miami. All three of the we should have been in the playoff teams so far have lost. Can we go 4 for 4? Will Lane Kiffin shit the bed against Duke in the Gator Bowl?
They say he likes a good time. He comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but time. He comes alive at midnight. My mama doesn't trust him. He's only here for one thing, but
only the best.
Never put my love out on the line. Never said yes to the right guy. Never had trouble getting what I want. But when it comes to you, I'm never good enough. When I don't care, I can play him like a Ken doll. Won't wash my hair, then make him bounce like a basketball. But you make me wanna act like a girl, paint my nails and wear high heels. Yes, you make me so nervous that I just can't hold your hand. You make me glow, but I cover up, won't let it show. So I'm putting my defenses up, 'cause I don't wanna fall in love. If I ever
The game is at 4 for 2 reasons. Number one, the Gator Bowl comes on at 7:30 or 8 or whatever it is. So there was already a game on at that time. Number two, both Georgia and Notre Dame want to play the game as early as possible so they can get back home as early as possible to prepare for their next game. So if it was up to Georgia and Notre Dame, they'd have played the game yesterday, of course, or today at noon even. Because they whoever wins has to prepare for another game. They already have one less day now.
I guess for air, it feels so good, but you know it hurts. But you make me wanna act like a girl, paint my nails and wear perfume for you. Make me so nervous that I just can't hold your hand. You make me glow, but I cover up, won't let it show. So I'm putting my defenses up, 'cause I don't wanna fall in love. If I ever did that, I think I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack. The feelings I lost in my lungs, they're burning, I'd rather be numb. Yeah, there's no one else to blame. So scared I'll take off and I run.
Well, yeah, that's why they did a terrorist thing in New Orleans, because the terrorist has SEC bias.
You make me glow, but I cover up, won't let it show. So I'm putting my defenses up, 'cause I don't wanna fall in love. If I ever did that, I think I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack. Heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd have a heart attack.
Only the best.
You
I don't know if it hurts the players or the teams to have the game delayed or not, but just like with weather, the game was delayed for both teams. So it didn't only get delayed for one team. So whatever the effect is, whether it's no effect or some huge effect, both teams have to deal with the same thing. So it's no excuse. If Georgia loses by 100, it's not because the game was delayed. If Notre Dame loses by 100, it's not because the game was delayed. Just like when Ohio State loses, it's not because it's windy, it's because they got beat.
웃으며 너를 만나 Never ending forever baby You are my universe and I just want to put you first You are my universe and you make my world light up inside 어둠이 내겐 더 변했었지 길어진 그림자 속에서 And they said that we can't be together Because we come from different sides You are my universe And I just want to put you first You are my universe And you make my world light up inside My universe 나를 밝혀주는 건 너란 사랑으로 수놓아진 별내 우주와 넌 다른 세상을 만들어주는 girl 너는 내 별이자 나의 호주니까 지금 이 시련도 결국엔 잠시니까 너는 언제까지나 지금처럼 밝게만 빛나줘 우리는 너를 따라 이긴 밤을 수놓아 너와 함께 날아가 When I'm without you I'm crazy 자 어서 내 손을 잡아 We are made of each other baby You are my universe And I just want to put you first
Yeah, Vic's coming on. He's waiting patiently in the back room. I have a serious question I was thinking about last night, and I think the answer is probably no. And it would probably be no if I look back on a lot of different teams for this thing, because, of course, now with a 12-team playoff, it becomes a lot more possible. But there's some Ohio State fans in here. I know Ohio State has 100 natties. Has Ohio State ever won a national championship in a year where they lost to Michigan? Probably not, because of course, if you go back like before the BCS, that losing that game pretty much eliminates you. And then like even in the 4-team playoff, I know Ohio State made the playoffs that one year when they lost to Michigan, but they lost in the playoffs. But was there ever, I know y'all, like Ohio State has a bunch of natties from 50 and 60 years ago. Was there ever a year Ohio State won a natty but lost to Michigan? I know was it 2017? Alabama lost to Auburn and went on to win the natty. I guess what I'm getting at is, does it take anything? Ohio State fans have been telling me for 100 years that Michigan is the biggest game of the year. It doesn't matter what else happens before that or after that. It's all about the Michigan game. So if Ohio State goes on to win the natty this year, are Ohio State fans still down bad? Is what I'm asking. Are they going to still tell me that the Michigan game was the most important game of the year and they lost it? Or are they going to say, well, it doesn't matter, we won a natty? Now, I think it doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. It obviously matters. But whoever Georgia's biggest rival is, Florida, Auburn, Georgia Tech, whatever, I would gladly take a loss against them every year if it meant I won a natty. Like, it's not even, I don't even have to think about it. Like, if you say you can beat Michigan, but you're going to lose in the playoffs, or you can lose to Michigan and you're going to win the national title, I'd take lose to Michigan and win the national title every year if I'm an Ohio State fan. But I don't know if everybody feels that same way. And I'm not just talking about Ohio State either. Are there any Alabama fans in here this morning? Do Auburn fans give y'all shit about 2017? Like, do they say, yeah, you won the natty, but you couldn't beat Auburn? Do they do that? Georgia lost a game in 2021, but it wasn't to a rival. It was to Alabama. And of course, then they went on to beat Alabama in that same season in the national title game. So there's no similar situation for me as a Georgia fan to look back and judge it on. So I'm wondering how other people feel that have been through it, or like Ohio State right now that's about to go through it. Like Biggs Mike is a Michigan fan, right? He obviously doesn't want Ohio State to win the natty, but let's say Ohio State goes on to win the natty. If I'm Biggs Mike, every time I see an Ohio State fan bragging about winning the natty, I'm going to go, yeah, but you couldn't beat us. Like, that's just how college football trash talk works. So I'm just wondering, does that bother people? Will that bother the Ohio State man? That every time they brag about winning this natty, if they win it, they'll have to hear a Michigan fan say, yeah, but you couldn't beat us. And I wonder if Alabama fans hear that from Auburn fans about 2017. Like I said, it's never happened with Georgia that I mean, 1980, they were undefeated. 2021, they lost one game. It was to Alabama, but they then beat Alabama in the national championship game. So there's nothing they can say. And then in 2022, Georgia was undefeated. So I don't really know personally. But I have a feeling that's how it's going to go. Like the Michigan fans, every time they see Ohio State man bragging about a natty this year, if they win it, the Michigan fans are going to be like, well, you might have won the natty, but you couldn't beat us. And if Ohio State fans are honest with themselves, if the situation was reversed, they would do the same thing. Like, let's say Ohio State somehow had beaten Michigan last year in the regular season, but Michigan still went on to win the natty. Well, every time Michigan man brought that up, the Ohio State man would go, yeah, well, but you couldn't beat us. I'm just wondering how that goes. What are the rules on that, Vic? What are the rules on that?
What are the rules?
Yeah, what are the rules on that, Mr. Tubes?
Yeah, I think that Ohio State fans won't care that well, I mean, they will care, but they won't care as much because they won the natty. So
yeah, and now the only difference is, and of course, I love to point out hypocrisy anytime I can find it, and lucky for me, it's literally everywhere all the time. But Ohio State fans and Michigan fans, honestly, have been trying to tell us down here that we don't understand that rivalry. It's way bigger than the Iron Bowl. It's way bigger than whatever other game. You don't get it. That's the only game that matters. It's literally called the game. We can go 0-11 every year. I wouldn't care as long as we beat Michigan or as long as we beat Ohio State or whatever. That's the only game that matters. It's more important than any game before it, and it's more important than any game after it. Is that lie about to be exposed, Vic?
Yes.
Yes, it is about to be. That lie is about to be exposed.
Well, I mean, Harvard and Yale was actually the game first. So
Is that true?
yeah.
So they stole that from Harvard, Yale.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Now, is
what,
there any way
what
Harvard and
I'm seeing
Yale
says.
is there any way Harvard and Yale can sue Ohio State not for calling it the game, but just for using the word the? Also, have there been any lawsuits filed by Ohio State in the last 3 years against anybody, any company, any organization for using the word the? Does anyone know?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that there hasn't been. I mean, I've been daring them to do it for 3 years. I still have my name as the Uncle Lou on my main channel, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah. It used to just be Uncle Lou. The minute Ohio State told me I couldn't use the word the, I changed my YouTube name to the Uncle Lou, made a video daring them to do something about it, and they ain't done shit. So, but the lie about Michigan and Ohio State game being the game and the only game that matters, and we'd rather win this game than any other game, and it's more important than anything that happens before or after, that lie is about to be exposed. That's not true. It's just a rivalry game. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. It's just a rivalry game that you want to win. That's it. That's it.
Yes, it's just the only game, the only rivalry that matters according to you.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's not the game. If Ohio State makes it to the national championship, Vic, that will be the game for Ohio State this year, not the Michigan game. So, I don't really know who. I guess Oregon State is Oregon's biggest rival. There's at least one Oregon fan in here, or there was earlier. I don't think Oregon and Ohio State is a rivalry. I don't consider it a rivalry.
No, it's not.
I mean, they've played 3 times now in the last 4 years, but I don't think that's enough to make it a rivalry.
No.
Yeah, see, there's the Oregon man. And I guarantee you he's not going to run and hide. David. You know David, Vic.
Yeah, I know David, yeah.
Guy's been around longer than me.
Right, yeah.
So he's not going to go anywhere. And I'm not going to lie, and I said this too. When Georgia won their first natty in 2021, and I got to go through that season and experience all that and feel the kind of excitement of what that is, I said, I obviously want Georgia to win the national title every year, but that's not going to happen. But I do wish every diehard college football fan can experience what it's like to watch their team win the national title at least once. And somebody like David, who has been around forever, an Oregon fan forever, he shows up, win, lose, or draw. You know, he is the type of person that I'm talking about. Like, he deserves to see Oregon win a natty. Now, like Georgia, maybe Oregon's got to go through some close but not good enough heartbreaking type seasons before they get there. You know, now they've had a couple already. I mean, Oregon's had some really, really good teams over the last 15 years. I mean, going back to Chip Kelly's time there in like the late 2000s, I guess that was. You know, they've made the playoffs now. How many times? Twice? They made the first playoff in 2014, and they made the first 12-team playoff. In 2014, they won their first round game. Against who, Vic?
It was Florida State.
That's right. The first ever college football playoff game, and they won it. and then they lost to
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
So they've been close. They've been through the heartbreaking kind of close, but not quite good enough losses.
Yeah. They played in the 2010 Natty game when they lost to Auburn.
Yep. So they've had some close calls. Oregon is kind of Oregon as a program over the last 15 years is kind of like Ohio State with Ryan Day for the last 5 years. It's like, even though you don't want to admit it, you know eventually they're going to get one. Like, you can't have that good of a team. I'm talking about Ohio State and Ryan Day. Like, you can't have that good of a team that many years in a row and not get one. And they're probably going to get theirs this year, Ohio State. I think Go Bucks is having a stroke in the comment section. You want us to call it a paramedics, bud? The Big 12 is going to be very good next season. Oh, yeah? Can't wait to see that.
GGVGYGGYGGLL.
But Oregon will get one. They're too good. Their coaching staff right now is too good. They've got the money. Like, they're going to get one at some point. It feels like to me. I don't know what other teams sort of Texas, maybe. I mean, not this year. I'm talking about, let's say the next 5 to 6 years. Like, could Texas get one in the next 5 or 6 years? Maybe. Vic, who do you think's more likely to win a Natty in the next 5 or 6 years? Texas? It's been a long time for them too, 20 years now. Or Oregon?
Oregon. Yeah, Oregon. Yeah.
Do I owe you $50, Mr. Smith? So he says, "Where's my $50? Do I owe you $50
For what?
Yeah, I don't.
For what?
What'd we bet on?
Yeah, did you make a bet with Mr. Smith?
I don't know. Maybe. Let me see. Do I have something written down?
Yeah, and then David says he owes you $50.
What?
Yeah. David says he owes you $50.
Oh, no. I think the bet is between David and Mr. Smith.
Oh.
So I think it has nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Mr. David owes Mr. Smith $50.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's got nothing to do with me, so that's good.
Yeah.
Rigged wheel results. Great question. Rigged wheel. Penn State. I already paid that too. Yeah. Mike N won the rigged wheel. He had Penn State minus 11.5. That late touchdown. That was a competitive game. I don't want to hear nobody talk no shit about that game. Penn State won 31-14, but it was 24-14 for a lot of the fourth quarter, and Boise State got down there and fucked it up. I thought it was a competitive game. I'll tell you this: Penn State, Boise State was more competitive than Oregon, Ohio State. Tell you that. I'll tell you that. Jeremiah Smith probably winning the Heisman. Well, he'll be a front runner next year, for sure. I can't believe Ohio State only opened as a 5-point favorite over Texas. Well, they opened as a 2.5-point favorite, or a 4.5-point favorite. The site I use, the game's not on there yet. I hope they hurry up and put it on there because they opened up at 4.5 and it's already up to like 6 or where is it? It's already up to it's already up to 6, and if I refresh it, it might be up more now. No, it's still at 6. I'll take Ohio State anything up to 9, 9.5. I mean, Texas is beat up from that Arizona State game. That was a physical game.
Yep, facts.
Because Scatterboo doesn't really get tackled. He hits you and falls down. But, like, you're not hitting Scatterboo. He's hitting you. You know what I'm talking about? He's that kind of runner.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
That
yeah.
defense got beat up.
Yes.
In an
Yes,
overtime
sometimes,
game.
Yeah, sometimes he hits you and he doesn't fall down.
Right. Yeah. One-man band at Arizona State. That's the problem there.
Yes, right. He can do everything. You can run it, you can catch it, he can throw it. I mean, he might be a better quarterback than Mildew.
He is a better quarterback than Mildew. He's got a higher QBR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Georgia game today at 4 because it's safe today. Wasn't safe
it's
yesterday.
Safe. It's safe today. It's also safe to play the game at 4.
Right.
Or I guess it would be at 3. 3 Central. But.
Right. Is Sark not playing Arch because he already knows he is transferring? Yeah, I don't know. It's I will be extremely curious to see what goes on in the next 48 hours with the Texas quarterback situation. Did yours say anything after the game about when he might let us know what he's doing?
No.
Here's the thing, because these guys can still enter the portal. So I don't know how many people really know exactly the way the portal works and this and that. But the portal is closed unless you're in the playoffs. You can't enter the portal like a I don't know what a Florida player right now can't enter the portal. A Texas player can. Oh, that's right. They won. Yeah, so he probably didn't say anything.
Yeah. So do you think Ewers is gonna declare for the draft?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if he's gonna go pro. I don't know if he's gonna come back to Texas for another year, or I don't know if he's gonna enter the portal. But I don't think that Ewers and Arch Manning will both be on Texas next year. I don't think that. I think one of them is leaving, whether that's Ewers to the NFL, Ewers to the portal, or Manning to the portal. I don't think they're keeping them all. Arch staying with pro-style offense. Not if Ewers stays. He's not. I saw a Texas reporter say that Art said he hasn't considered transferring. Right. And a coach is staying at his current job forever until the minute he's offered another job. So what would you expect Arch Manning to say? What other possible answer could he have given? Believe nobody and you won't be disappointed. That's one way to look at it, for sure.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't think that Arch is going to want to sit another year. So
I honestly don't care what he does. I'm a Georgia fan. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but what happens at other teams, either directly or indirectly, affects Georgia. I don't know if you know that.
so yeah, so you should care
Yeah.
because we might, well, I mean, we are going to play Texas again next year. So yeah, we got him in Athens this year.
Arch to Georgia. Yeah. Right. Right. A lot of what Georgia does with the quarterback situation will be a lot more clear by 8 o'clock tonight. Gunnar Stockton comes out today and goes 12 of 24 for 120 yards, 3 interceptions, and a touchdown. Then we got an issue for next year. I hope it's clear by 6 p.m. Well, yeah. But you know what I mean. By the time the game's over tonight, we'll either have no questions about Georgia's quarterback situation next year, or we'll have nothing but questions about Georgia's quarterback situation next year.
Yep.
I hope Gunnar plays well, obviously, because I want Georgia to win. But more than that, I want him to play well because I would love to see Georgia play a season with a quarterback like Gunnar Stockton, a guy that can run the ball, hurt you with his legs.
Yeah, me too.
A true dual threat guy. Now, I don't want a dual threat guy that's not any good. I don't want to play a running quarterback just because he can run around. You got to be able to throw the ball. You got to be able to make good decisions. You got to be able to do all that stuff, that goes into playing the position of quarterback. But, I have a feeling if it doesn't go good for Gunnar today, we're going to end up with another pocket passer, Puglisi or, whatever. And then plus Puglisi's not from Georgia, so no one's going to like him. It's, that whole thing. Plus, I don't, I doubt Puglisi has a 30-year-old pickup truck. So you know how these people are. They're not going to like him from the get-go. So we'll see. I still think it's going to be a good game. Georgia can lose, though. I mean, I think Notre Dame's good. After watching yesterday's games, though, I haven't changed my mind. I still think the winner of Oregon-Ohio State, which ended up being Ohio State, is going to beat Texas. And I still think the winner of Georgia-Notre Dame is going to beat Penn State. Oregon got exposed. Exposed as what? I think for some people, exposed is just a synonym for beat. I think Oregon just got beat. I don't think they got exposed. Exposed as what? Exposed in what way? Hines Ward. Georgia needs Hines Ward as wide receiver coach. Yeah. And David Pollock is defensive line coach, and Rennie Curran is linebackers coach, and Champ Bailey is DB coach, and who else? We'll take Ben Jones as offensive line coach. O'Shawn Moreno is running backs coach. Doesn't matter if you're a good coach. It's just, did you play for Georgia? You did? Okay, come coach the other players that play that same position. That's all we need. I'm sure that would work out. I'm sure that would work out great, I'm sure. That's what's been wrong with our wide receivers for the last 100 years. We haven't had an ex-Georgia wide receiver coaching them. You know what I mean, Vic?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think that AJ Green would be a good wide receiver coach.
Yeah. Yeah, he played for Georgia. Bring him back.
He played for Georgia. Yeah, he's probably the best wide receiver Georgia's ever had. So
Yeah, that's what's been holding us back at the wide receiver position for the last 100 years, is that we haven't had an ex-Georgia wide receiver coaching the wide receivers. It's got to be what it is. It's the only explanation, really. I can't think of another explanation.
no, I can't either.
Just think, after we watch UJ whoop Notre Dame, we get to watch Duke whoop Ole Miss. It would be funny if Ole Miss lost, because the other three we should have been in teams have all lost. Alabama, South Carolina, and Miami all shit the bed, even though they should have been in the playoffs according to them. Ole Miss is the last one standing. And this has the potential to be the funniest one, because Ole Miss's head coach has been making a fool of himself on Twitter during the entire bowl season.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin has been crying nonstop.
Look, you know how when Big Ten people or whoever else say, oh, the SEC's not the best conference, they're just this or they're just that, and we look at them like they're stupid? You know what I'm talking about, Vic?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're an SEC person right now saying the SEC is the best conference, you're the stupid person. Okay? The Big Ten is the best conference in football this year. Now, if you can't admit that as an SEC guy, then you're just as retarded as Big Ten guy every year that the SEC was the best league. And they wouldn't admit it, or they made excuses like, well, they're only the best because of ESPN, or they're only the best because what, blah, 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 blah. Then you're just as stupid as the other people were. But the SEC is not the best conference. It's been proven. I don't know what more anybody needs to see. Southern Cal can't win a game in the Big Ten. They beat LSU and Texas A&M. Illinois beat South Carolina. Michigan, a 500 team in the Big Ten, beat Alabama. The best team in the country is probably in the Big Ten. So there was a year, I think it was one of the Clemson years, but there was a year where the ACC was the best conference. 16 or 18, somewhere in that time frame. I remember making videos about it.
Yeah, I think it was 16. Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, it's like it's like when, you know, Mildew's not a good quarterback, right? But has he had good games?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he has a good game, the only thing you can do as a Mildew critic is come on and go, I got to give Mildew credit. He had a good game in whatever game that happens to be. Now, it doesn't mean that you were wrong when he, you know, let's say Mildew plays like shit in week 2. You come on and you go, yeah, Mildew played like shit. 2 weeks later, Mildew plays good. You come on and you go, wow, Mildew played good yesterday. Doesn't mean you were wrong 2 weeks ago. You were right 2 weeks ago. He played like shit. But then when he plays good, you got to come on and you got to go, hey, he played good. It's the same thing. The Big Ten is better than the SEC this year. It doesn't change the fact that over the last 20 years, the SEC is the best conference in college football overall, over the last 20 years. Or that the SEC was the best conference last year or 5 years ago or whatever, or 2014, whatever year you want to point to or whatever. But the SEC ain't it this year. Now, they're a really good league, just like the Big Ten was a really good league last year when the SEC was the best conference or whatever year. It's not like you have a best conference and then everyone else is dog shit. The ACC, dog shit. Worst Power 4 conference in the history of football this year, the ACC. I'm dead serious. The worst Power 4 conference, 5 conference, whatever, in the history of college football was the ACC this season. The Big 12, a below average league this year. An exciting league, a fun league to watch, a lot of parity in the Big 12, but not a great league at all. The Big 10 and the SEC this year, both really good leagues, Big 10 better. I don't know how you argue against that. So, and it's made a lot of people look stupid. Not me. Because I immediately said, no, Bama should not be in. South Carolina should not be in. Ole Miss should not be in. Miami should not be in. I said, I haven't changed my tune. They weren't good enough to get in. The bowl season has now proven that. It's not just a one-off whatever. Match them up. Big Ten, SEC. The Big Ten is winning. All we have is Missouri over Iowa, Vic. And that was close. So, I mean, we got Texas over Michigan in the regular season, I guess, and a couple other regular season games, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. But generally, I don't see how you argue against it, but the Big Ten is the best conference this year. It's just now the SEC probably get more players drafted again for the 19th. This would be the 19th year in a row if it happens. The SEC's had the most players drafted for 18 years in a row. But see, here's the problem. Having a lot of talent doesn't automatically make you a playoff team. And I made a video about this the other day. That's what's going to ruin college football eventually, is if these people get their way. Nick Saban, some of these other national talking head people that just, well, yeah, Alabama lost to 3 unranked teams, but look at their roster. They should be in the playoffs. Well, it doesn't work that. I mean, you got to win enough games to get in. Okay, so your schedule was hard. Okay. So was Florida's. I mean, do they get in? I mean, you got to, like, we cannot get to a point where we're just saying it doesn't matter that such and such lost 3 or 4 games. Look at their fucking roster. They're going to have 20 players drafted. Okay. Then they're extremely disappointing, but they're not getting into playoffs. Like, you just got to win some games.
Yeah, exactly. Being one of the 12 best rosters does not make you one of the 12 best teams.
Right, but that when you listen to a lot of these people talk, that's what they want the playoff selection to be. They want the 24/7 talent index to mean more than Bama getting blown out by Oklahoma and losing to Vandy. Like that's just not right. And I am an SEC guy. I wave the SEC flag. I mean, I get it. The SEC is a hard league. It is. But it was hard for Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee too. They somehow all went 10-2. In Texas' case, 11-1. And got in. People shit on Texas' schedule, and I agree they got a pretty good draw, but they played at Vandy, didn't they, Vic?
Yeah, they did.
Did
and,
they lose?
And they won.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. They somehow managed to pull off the miracle that is winning on the road at Vandy. Alabama didn't. The fact that they've got 35 stars shouldn't mean more than that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and do you know who did beat Vandy? Yeah, Georgia State.
I mean, I do not think that you should just take the teams with the 12 best records and blindly put them in. I don't believe that at all. And neither does anyone else, by the way, which is why Navy's not in the playoffs, Army's not in the playoffs, UNLV's not in the playoffs. I mean, I could go on and on and on down the list, you know, because they always say, well, what about strength of schedule? Strength of schedule is why Alabama's the first team out of the playoffs instead of Navy. Navy and Army had better records than Bama. They're not ranked ahead of Bama, are they, Vic?
No.
No. Why aren't they?
Because Bama had a
because
better
of strength
schedule.
of schedule. Yes, because of strength of schedule. Why is Georgia ranked ahead of Indiana? Georgia went 10-2, didn't they? Didn't Georgia go 10-2?
Strength of schedule.
Yeah, Georgia went 10-2 and Indiana went 11-1. Who was ranked higher?
Georgia.
Thank you. So yeah, strength of schedule should matter, and it does. But it should not matter more than losing to multiple unranked teams. In the case of Ole Miss, you know, that lost to Kentucky. They lost to Kentucky and Florida. That's
Kentucky.
Listen, if I didn't watch any college football games this year and I came out of a coma 5 minutes before the playoffs were being announced, and the only thing anyone told me about the entire college football season was Ole Miss lost to Kentucky and Florida, I'd say, well, they're not getting into playoffs. I don't care whether it doesn't matter whether they're 10-2, 2-10, whatever. If they lost to Kentucky and Florida, they're not getting in. And guess what? They didn't get in. Nor did they deserve to get in.
No.
Georgia lost 2 games on the road to top 15 teams. They also beat 2 other top 15 teams, one at home and one on the road. That's why they're in. Never mind the fact they won the SEC. But these people are going to make it, if they get their way. People talk about the 12-team playoff ruining the regular season, which is retarded. There was 100 games in November this year that had more meaning than they've ever had before because of the 12-team playoff. Every Indiana game. In a 4-team playoff, Indiana never gets close. SMU never gets close. Clemson never gets close. Boise State never gets close. Go down the list. So, therefore, every game they played in November was bigger than any November game they've ever played before. So, this idea that the 12-team playoff has ruined the regular season is retarded. It enhances the regular season. It gives you more games that matter, not games that matter less. But you got to win them. You cannot get blown out in the next to the last week of the regular season by an unranked team. Making that your third loss and then sit around crying that you didn't get into the playoffs. Sorry. Then you go out against Michigan and can't complete a pass. Has the thought occurred to you that you're just not any good? Puffer Billy Slaw is back to an 8-team playoff crybaby argument this week. Last week it was a 4-team, let the BCS computers pick the playoffs, which, by the way, would have had Oregon in the playoffs and not Ohio State. But Hofer Billy Paul just blows with the wind. Whatever happens in any given day, he then adjusts his argument accordingly. He doesn't have any real principles when it comes to the postseason. If Slaw had his way, we'd have no playoff games at all. I mean, we just would have waited a month to watch Georgia play Oregon, and that would have been it. That's what some people want, Cooter Cat. Just, you don't even need to play any regular season games. Just right before the season starts, just look at the 24/7 talent index, and whoever's number one on that list, just crown them national champions. That's what people like Slaw want.
Yeah, that's not what I want.
I want more college football, not less.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, more is always good. Yeah.
Paul wants AI to pick the playoffs.
Let's just let college football 25 pick the natty.
Wants to go back to computers. Because he doesn't like blowouts. He forgets that, conveniently forgets that these are the scores of the BCS championship game back when we had computers: 42-14, 21-0, 37-21, 38-24, 41-14, 55-19, 37-14, 13-2, 46-29. Yeah, those were great games. Can't wait to go back to that. He also forgets, because he's 60, that all people did during the BCS era was cry and complain about the computers not getting it right, and that more teams should have been considered or had a chance at the Natty at the end of the year. Now we have that, and the same people are crying to go back to that. You know how you determine the best team, Vic?
By playing games.
By having a playoff. That's why literally every sport on the planet does it. That's why every sport on the planet does it that way.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to determine who the best team is to have a playoff. That's why literally every league, every sports league on the planet does that.
Yes, to have the best teams play each other. Yeah. So you can figure out who the best is.
Oh, people are going to complain no matter what. You're right about that. Yeah. People like Slaw get up in the morning already knowing they're going to complain. They just don't know about what. They decide they're going to complain first. Then they figure out what it is they want to complain about. They're just complainers. I don't even think you need to reseed. I just think you need to do away with automatically making conference champions the top 4. Guarantee the 4 conference champions or the 5, guarantee the 5 conference champions a spot in the 12, but don't guarantee the top 4 spots 1 to 4. That's what messed up the playoffs this year, was having Boise State at 3 and Arizona State at 4. That's what messed everything up. The 12 teams that they put in were the right 12 teams. And that has nothing to do with the seeding, has nothing to do with the playoff. I saw it yesterday. Some big Oregon Ducks account on Twitter that had thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. In the second quarter of the game, put out a tweet that just said, "Fuck the playoff committee." And that's another part of the problem, and it's mostly the fans' fault, because you can find this information out if you care at all. But it's partly college football's fault in general, because they haven't done a good enough job of explaining to people how the process works. The committee has nothing to do with the seeding. Zero. Nothing. The playoff committee had Boise State ranked 9th, not 3rd. So, you know, as far as Oregon football putting out a tweet that says, "Fuck the playoff committee," what you're really saying is fuck your own conference commissioner, because your own conference commissioner is the one that put Boise State at 3. Your own conference commissioner is the one that put Arizona State at 4, not the committee. And people don't know that. They blame the committee for everything.
Well, I mean, the committee had Boise State as the 3rd best conference champion.
The committee had Boise State ranked 9th.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes, but yeah.
The committee doesn't seed teams. You don't know either. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that if they ranked Boise State as the 3rd highest ranked conference champion.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well,
you're saying
and
so. Wait a minute, so you're saying
Boise State got number 3?
No, Boise State got the 3 seed because the conference commissioners said that the 3rd highest ranked conference champion has to be in the top 4.
Oh.
So you don't understand.
Oh yeah. So going back to the beginning when they first made the playoff format.
The college football playoff committee did not make the playoff. All the college football playoff committee does is rank 25 teams every week. That's all they do. That's it. That's all they do. They rank 25 teams every week. That's all they do. The 10 conference commissioners and the athletic director of Notre Dame are the ones that came up with the playoff format. And they all voted unanimously that it doesn't matter where the 3rd, 4th, or 3rd or 4th highest ranked conference champion is ranked. It doesn't matter. If the 3rd highest ranked conference champion is ranked 21st, they get a 3 seed. That has nothing to do with the committee. Nothing. It has to do with the athletic director of the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the group of 5 schools, conference commissioners, and the athletic director of Notre Dame. They all voted for this playoff format with the seeding. Unanimous. Only the SEC is complaining. Oregon's not in the SEC, dumbass. Oregon is the one that got screwed by the seeding format. And they're not in the SEC. I know you don't know that much about college football, but they're not in the SEC. They're in the Big Ten. And somebody mentioned earlier the cost of the bowl game tickets being dirt cheap, $23, $16. Good. I hope the stadiums are half full for these second round games. I hope nobody goes to these second round games. Then maybe they'll wake up and move them to college campuses where people will go. Hey, college football fan, we need you to send your team $100 a month for NIL. And then twice a year, we need you to send your team a $1,000 donation for the doorknob fund. And then once every 3 years, we need you to send your team $5,000 for a new indoor practice facility. And then if your team is good enough because of all the money you gave us to make it to the postseason, we need you to fly across the country 4 times to see your team play in 4 different corners of the United States. No. Your TV contract paid you how much? $70 million? You build the indoor practice facility. You replace the doorknobs. You pay the players. And play the fucking games on college campuses so fans can drive to them and then drive back. Not hop on a plane, fly across the country, stay in a hotel for 2 nights, eat out for 2 days, fly back home, and then rinse and repeat 4 more times during Christmas. Stop. Play the fucking games on campuses. Everything you want, you want to do keep the semifinals. That's fine. Rotate amongst the 6 major bowls. That's fine. But the first 2 rounds, college campus. But they won't do that. They'll fuck it up. Like they always do. They'll fuck it up like they always do. Yes, and play the national championship game on a Saturday night. Fuck the NFL. Stop bending over for the NFL. Fuck them. They don't return the favor. The NCAA has nothing to do with the college football playoff. 0. None. Not a single thing. The NCAA owns March Madness. They don't own the college football playoff. They have nothing to do with it. 0. Literally nothing. If you want to know why the national title game is on Monday, you'd have to blame ESPN. That's why the title game is on Monday. ESPN doesn't want to lose national championship game viewers to an NFL playoff game. So they moved the game to Monday. Now, I don't give a fuck how many people watch the national championship game. I just want it on a Saturday because it's more convenient for obvious reasons. But ESPN doesn't want to lose viewers to the playoffs, so they push it to Monday. I like the auto bids too. I mean, again, sports have been played for 2,000 years. Over that 2,000 years, they have developed like the best way to do things over time. And literally every sport on the planet has auto bids. But for some reason in college football, it's like, no, can't do that. Some conference isn't as good as the other conference. Well, who gives a fuck? The AFC is not as good as the NFC, or the other way around, whichever it is. The Western Conference in the NBA is better than the Eastern Conference. Okay, who gives a fuck? We're still putting 8 teams from each conference in. But for some reason in college football, it's like, it's not fair. Arizona State shouldn't be in. What? Shut up. Yes, they should.
Guess the other problem is not the auto bids. The problem is the auto buys.
The problem is the seeding. That's the problem.
Right.
The problem
Right.
is the seeding.
Right. The automatic, get a top 4 seed. Yeah.
I mean, I've pulled this up before, I think on the morning show, but I'll pull it up again. Notre Dame would have hosted Clemson. Now, the playoff committee has Arizona State at 12 and Alabama at 11. But because of the auto buys, because of the automatic bids to conference winners, Clemson, who's not in the top, Clemson's ranked 16th by the playoff committee, but they won the ACC. They get an auto bid. So they have to be moved up to 12. Well, that's Arizona State. You can't bump Arizona State out because they also won their conference. So Arizona State actually moves up to 11. Clemson moves up to 12. Alabama gets bumped out. And this is where the seeding fucked everything up. Here's what we should have had. Notre Dame should have hosted Clemson in round 1. Ohio State should have hosted Arizona State in round 1. Tennessee should have hosted SMU, and Indiana should have hosted Boise. That should have been the first round games. Round 2 should have been Oregon against Indiana. Georgia against the winner of Tennessee, SMU. On and down the list. But they fucked everything up by moving Boise State from 9 to 3 and Clemson from 16 to 4. Arizona State from 12 to 4. They fucked it all up. Do I feel sorry for Oregon? Not really. At some point, if you think you can win a national title, you're going to have to beat whoever you think the other best team is, in this case, Ohio State. It just so happened that they had to play Ohio State in the second round instead of the Natty or the next round or the third round or whatever. We all watched the game. If they played in 2 weeks, Ohio State beat them. It still would beat them. So I'm not saying they would have won a Natty, but I understand why Oregon's upset. They're like, the seeding fucked everything up, but still, you got to beat, breaking news. To win a playoff, you might have to beat a good team, Dummy is living up to his name. He says it should be the best 12 teams. Best 12 according to who? You? Best 12 according to you? Or best 12
Yes.
according to who, Dummy?
Yes. Best 12 according to Dummy.
You know how you figure out who the best teams are? You have a playoff. Until you have a playoff, you don't know who the best teams are. So the whole idea of just putting the best teams in is retarded. And there's not a sport on the planet that does that. Because it's retarded. Like you. I'd be happy as shit if I was a South Carolina fan for Shane Beamer's reaction. What would we say as Georgia fans if Josh Heupel came over to our sideline and started taunting Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart did nothing and turned around, tucked his tail, and walked away? How would that make you feel as a Georgia fan? Or what if John Heupel came over to Georgia sideline, started taunting Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart took off running at him and had to be held back by 4 people? I'd much rather that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why people are clowning Shane Beamer for his reaction. That's exactly what I would want my coach to do. I wouldn't have been mad if Shane Beamer would have got loose and went over there and slapped that fat fuck upside his head. That wouldn't have made me mad at one bit. So I don't understand why people are clowning Shane Beamer about that.
You know,
every single fan in the country would have wanted their coach to do the same thing. So I don't understand.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I would want my coach to stand up for himself and his team.
And the team. Now, has Shane Beamer done a lot of clownish shit? Yeah. Yes. Is this one of them? No.
No.
I think this is a prime example of somebody's reputation affecting how the public views something. I think because of Beamer's reputation, some people are jumping on him, you know, because of other shit he's done. But I don't put this in that category. I don't know of any college football fan who would want their coach to do anything other than what Beamer did. Well, you say Beamer's not a clown. He's done clownish shit, for sure. Some of his post-game press conferences are clown level 1 million. There's no... The guy broke his foot kicking a locker. That's clownish.
No, it was a cooler.
A cooler. He blamed the hot dog guy or whatever, you know, like he's done clownish shit. This ain't one of them. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. The argument that we should just put the best 12 in, you don't even need a regular season to do that. You need no games. All you have to do is look at the 24/7 talent index and just say, well, there's our playoff teams. You know, these are the best teams. They've got the most talent. They're putting the most players in the NFL. They must be the best team. Well, let's see how that would work out. It'd work out pretty good. Oklahoma's a playoff team this year. So is LSU and Texas A&M and Florida. Florida's in the playoffs this year. Texas A&M's in the playoffs this year. LSU, Oklahoma, they're all in the playoffs this year.
Yep, they got Florida in the playoffs.
Yeah, Florida's in the playoffs. They're well, look how talented they are, Vic.
Yeah, look how talented Florida is.
They're the 12th most talented team. Of course, they've got to be in the playoffs. I mean, they lost 5 actual games, but hypothetically, they might beat Indiana. So we got to put them in.
And then they got Florida State at 13. So is Florida State gonna sue 24/7 Sports?
Right. See, now Florida State gets to complain again. Why are we the first team out? We got the 13th most talented roster. Why are we the first team out? Well, you went 2-10. Yeah, but look at Indiana's schedule. I mean, ridiculous. By the end of the year, you can go by power ranking. Whose power ranking? Whose? Josh Pate's power ranking? Whose power ranking? FPI? Whose power ranking? You don't know who the best 12 teams are. You have no idea who the best 12 teams are, dummy. You have no idea who the best 12 teams are. Let Vegas decide? Same Vegas that had Michigan, same Vegas that had Alabama as a 16-point favorite over Michigan. You see, you don't even want games to be played when that's your argument. You don't even want games to be played. Let Vegas decide. You don't even want the games to be played. The right 12 teams got in. Right, exactly, Tom. Exactly right.
Yeah, Vegas's only goal is to make money, not to predict the game correctly.
Why should it have only been 8? And which 8 should it have been? I don't understand people. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't get it. All right. Let's get out of here, Vic. The chat is quickly degrading.
Yeah, they're talking about postponing the Sugar Bowl. Yeah, we know that.
The 9-year-olds are starting to wake up. You know, they sleep a little later than the grown-ups do, but 9-year-olds are starting to trickle in. So we're going to get out of here. Georgia Notre Dame on Patreon today. A lot of you in here are already on the Patreon page, so I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all on the Patreon stream. Don't forget that for New Year's, Patreon is half off. So if you want to check it out, there's the link. So I guess it's $5 instead of $10. So there's the link. Sugar Bowl comes on at 4. I'll post the link around 3:30 over on the Patreon page. Probably start the stream around 3:45. We'll hang out and watch the last of the quarterfinal playoff games, Georgia versus Notre Dame, and the Sugar Bowl comes on today at 4. So I'll see all of you over there. Vic, what you got going on?
What I got going on? Well, yeah. So I am getting back to my normal schedule with my Friday show. So we'll be starting at 6 tomorrow.
6 o'clock tomorrow over on the
6
VicTube
p.m.
channel.
Eastern. So yeah, I'm going to be getting back to my regular, time. Wanting to, get back to, it being a shit show, disaster stream.
Yeah.
So I do not foresee any changes to the schedule until the Slav Olympics. So
Now, you don't want to start your stream tomorrow at 4. So you don't want to start your stream tomorrow at 4, which of course is when the North Texas versus Texas State Serve Pro First Responder Bowl comes on.
well, I don't know. Does anybody really care?
No. Do you want to start your stream at 7:30 tomorrow when the Duke's Mayo Bowl comes on, Minnesota and Virginia Tech?
No.
You want to start it at 6, right in the middle of that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right. Yeah, right in the middle of that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, are you streaming Buffalo at Liberty in the Bahamas Bowl at 11 a.m.?
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I mean, if
Why?
no one else is, if no one else is gonna stream, then
Yeah, no one else is. No one else is. I promise.
all right then. I guess that's a good time to stream then. Yeah.
All right, Vic. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you tomorrow on your channel at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. VicTube every Thursday morning here on the morning show. Hope everybody has a great. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Is it Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. Am I the only one? I can't figure out what day of the week it is this time of year. Football games on odd days. The holiday deals mess everything up. Anyway, I will be on Patreon today for the Sugar Bowl. Games at 4. We'll go on around 3:30 or 3:45. The link will be posted on Patreon at that time. Just click the link. It'll take you to the stream. I'll see y'all over there. Enjoy your Thursday.